We work in a very, very competitive industry, and we often talk about how competitive it is for customers and for technology and all sorts of different aspects, but one of them by far is the competitiveness for people. And I often hear people in the industry talking about their plans to hire the best talent, and we've actually got a different strategy, and our strategy is about growing our own talent. We think that we've already got a fantastic team of people, and that if we invest in our people and grow our own talent, we're going to be in a much better position than everybody else.
Upstream forms a critical part of our plans for the future, both in terms of revenue growth, of market share and of customer experience.
The mid-range plan is important as it ensures alignment between all the different parts of upstream that have a critical role to play in delivering upon both the customer experience and our business results. It helps all of our employees understand what's expected of them and why it matters and how it connects to what the organisation's trying to achieve. It also has milestones that allow us to track our progress along the way.
We've approached it in 3 phases, if you like. The first one is about consistency. And we've nationalised all of our processes. Where we had very state-based process before, we now have a very nationalised process, and it is starting to be very consistent. So first phase done. The second phase is about how effective we get those things done, and this is really coming to play around driving a much greater client experience.
Yeah, Fuji Xerox support for Upstream's mid-range plan is based a lot on the fact that there are many things which are uniquely upstream. One of which is your value proposition, which is very MPS-centric and certainly IT services-centric. And the second is the marketplace that you play in. And both of these cover parts of the Australian market that Fuji Xerox Direct and our other channels really don't tackle very clearly.
It's been a lot harder to win new business, and people are after a much more consultative approach. It's more difficult to win new business these days than it used to be. So that's why we've got a large focus on training our sales guys, coming up with solutions and adding more value.
Becoming part of the fabric of the client and helping them solve their problems. And so as a services business, that's what we're about. We're about helping solve customers' problems, and that's adding value to them.
Once we have that understanding, we can start to work with them really in that trusted advisors consultative approach around tailoring a solution that will hopefully change the way that they use documents. At the very least, we'll have them thinking about how they print, why they print, and less paper. And for us, that means that we'll have a ongoing, sticky relationship with the customer that hopefully will be flexible enough that we can continue to add value and have a very long-term relationship with that client.
Coupled with that is driving a much deeper culture around thinking about the client's experience, so driving a client-centric culture. And that stems from all parts of our business, getting people to think about the internal customer and the external customer, and what the result of the actions and the processes we execute, what result does that produce for our customers?
Often mid-market customers will value forming a sort of a business partnership with an expert in a particular field, and they'll form a long-term relationship where we can really add value and they perceive value in what we can do for them as a business, where when you go to the big end of town, it's all about the lowest cost, and they don't perceive, they're not always interested in looking for value, they just want lowest cost. So
it's really about supporting and giving the best service we can to the sales team. We've done a lot of progress in trying to process these deals as fast as we can, so this is where we can add value to the business in giving the best support to the sales guys.
One of the other really important things are the cultural differences and similarities. We're similar in as much as our values are certainly aligned. We're different in as much as Upstream is smaller and is more nimble and faster to react. And that's one of the reasons why we will continue to invest time, resources, money and people in supporting Upstream's mid-range plan.
A key part of that plan is for us to continue to find companies that we can buy and integrate into our business. We had a really great success story last year with the acquisition of Cornerstone, and I'm looking forward to finding some exciting new companies that fit the bill in terms of what we're looking for, and acquiring those businesses where it makes sense for us, and looking forward to those people joining our company and us moving on together going forward.
The way we see our growth is to be really both organic and through acquisitions, probably in equal proportions. Organic growth mainly supported by three key actions. One is to maintain a high level of new business, i.e. above 20%, and we've done very good progress on that so far. Second is to leverage our transactional sales through Upstream Direct to seed into mid-market customers. And last is to really focus on maintaining a high level of customer retention. In terms of acquisitions, it's really a matter of finding good fit acquisitions, typically like we've done with Cornerstone. And the management team is looking at that pretty actively at the moment.
One thing that works really well is the trust between us. The trust that Nick and Phil and I have in Neil and the whole of the Upstream team, especially in your management team. And that trust works both ways to allow you to continue to operate independently.
And the last phase is then about being more efficient. So when we get things executed well and we're getting a great result, then how can we actually do that more efficiently, or, said differently, using less resources at a lower cost? And so those are the three phases where we've finished the first phase, we're starting on the second phase. And as I said, driving behind all that is this much deeper engagement around client experience. And if we get that right, I think we're going to have a very, very successful business and achieve our targets. We're starting to see some really good results early with our mirror wave results, which is really signalling to us that we're heading in the right direction, and I'm really thrilled with the progress the team has been making.
You've absorbed all of the challenges post-acquisition. You've made changes and are stronger for it, and you've begun to grow again, which is really critical. Next year will be Upstream's biggest year ever. If you achieve your plan, we're confident that you will, and we'll give you every bit of support to get there.
One of the things I love about Upstream is just the nature of who we are as a business. And I often like to think of Upstream as an organisation that takes things very seriously, takes customer service very seriously, takes being successful very seriously, but doesn't take ourselves too seriously. I think we've got a pretty relaxed culture where I want people to feel comfortable about talking to other colleagues and myself and managers about what's going on in the business. I want a culture where people feel comfortable and knowing that they can add value to our business, and that we are just a big family that takes being successful very seriously but doesn't take ourselves too seriously. A bit of an Aussie style culture.